Detective Ellen Shaw would later say basement corridors swallow sounds and white footprints in minutes. But in the laundry room below 214 North Union, a bent brass washer tag and two fresh cigarette ends still spoke in detergent dust and boiler heat. July 27, 1971, Burlington, Vermont. Until DNA finally broke the silence and gave investigators a name to chase. Block 1. Route and initial scene. Route and clock. Logged by Shaw. Victim: Kathleen Cat O'Rourke, 24, elementary teacher. Left St. Mary's Parish Hall about 9:35 p.m. after a summer reading group, carrying a lesson folder and groceries. A corner receipt at 9:41 p.m. shows milk and bread. The walk home is about 6 to 8 minutes along North Union. A downstairs neighbor heard her door close about 9:50, the radio come on about 9:53, and quiet by 10. At 6:30 a.m., an alarm rang unanswered. By 6:44, a friend checking on Kat found the apartment door pulled to, not latched, and called it in. Shaw boxed a live corridor of about 9:50 to 10:04 p.m. for whatever redirected the night. Building tableau. She noted, photographed, mapped. Second floor flat. No pry on the jamb, no torn chain. Living room tidy. A lesson book open on the small table. Kitchen sink held a rinsed glass. A dish towel hung square, still damp at the corner. In the bedroom, the bedspread was turned back with the care of habit, not panic. Shaw underlined the ordinary. The laundry room below told a different story. In lint and soap grit near the folding bench, two fresh cigarette butts with long ash tails and a bent brass tag from the pay washer lay half-pressed, as if a heel turned and then lifted. On the boiler door, she swabbed a faint palm rub where someone steadied themselves. No coin box tamper, no pry. Just small touches where a hand shouldn't be. Perimeter artifacts, she inventoried. On Kat's dresser, a bus punch card and a folded hymn leaflet from St. Mary's. No packed bag, no note. Mail on the counter was postmarked the 26th. In the stairwell, Shaw logged one cigarette end caught in the tread nosing at the landing between 2 and 3. Not collapsed by foot traffic. Outside on the side path, night moisture left clean concrete. No obvious drag or shuffle. Nothing on the route suggested a voluntary detour. Found and not found, scene density. Found, physical. Two fresh cigarette butts in laundry lint. A bent washer tag near the bench. Faint palm rub on the boiler door. One landing cigarette resting in dust at the 2 to 3 stair cut. Found, context. 9:41 corner receipt. About 9:50 door. About 9:53 radio. Unanswered alarm 6:30 a.m. Not found. No forced entry. No ransack. No coat or purse missing. No loud struggle in the hall. No voluntary tell like a pact overnight. Witness pulse. Shaw interviewed. Timed. Logged. A third-floor tenant, Teresa Flynn, heard a quick step and the laundry door click about 10:02, then a single pipe tick. No voices, no shout. Across the hall, Mrs. Corbin remembered a young man with a soft toolbox stepping out for a smoke about 9:58, glancing toward the stairwell. Neither could place a name. Shaw wrote that their minutes lived inside the 9:50 to 10:04 corridor. Early background on the working suspect, noted as context, not conclusion. A new husband in 3B, William Bill Danner, 23. Night shifts on and off as a print shop helper and occasional maintenance gopher. Was known to chain smoke in bad weather at the basement door and to fix things for the super when asked. His wife was 19, shy, and the couple kept to themselves. Shaw logged him as context only, pending paper minutes and trace. Surface and illumination. Constraints Shaw marked. Stairs. Varnished pine with rubber nosing. Soft underfoot. Laundry. Concrete with detergent dust that prints lightly for minutes, not hours before foot traffic erases detail. Hall light on a wall timer near 10 p.m. throws a short cone. The laundry bulb burns warm and steady. Outside air about the low 60s degrees Fahrenheit. No rain. Visibility good on the approach. Indifferent in the basement. Immediate response. She locked the core. Shaw sealed the apartment and basement. Bagged the two fresh butts and the landing butt. Lifted the washer tag and boiler rub. And canvassed 2 to 3 for names, habits, and shifts. She requested minute checks from the corner store and confirmed the 9:41 receipt. She noted, the apartment reads routine. The basement reads contact. Working window. Minutes, not hours. Door about 9:50. Radio about 9:53. Quiet 10 o'clock. Laundry door click about 10:02. Shaw bracketed about 14 minutes in which a short approach and quiet redirection could occur in the stair core or laundry. Enough time to light, talk low, put a hand on metal, and be gone without drawing the building. 2 cigarette ends nested in laundry lint, and a bent brass tag on concrete. Small pieces saying the turn happened downstairs. Shaw's sketch fixed the minutes on a stairwell and a boiler door. In a quiet classroom, an open lesson folder waited for a teacher who didn't walk in at 8. Block 2. Assumptions versus evidence. Accident on the stairs. Shaw walked the flights rail to rail. A fall should leave a rail strike, paint scuff at elbow height, a knee slide, and usually a shout. She logged none of that. On concrete in the laundry, detergent dust would print a slip for minutes, not hours. There was no fresh heel sweep. Instead, in a quiet oval of lint sat 2 cigarette ends with long, uncrushed ash tails, a cheap filter brand the corner shop keeps by the register. That looked like someone standing still, not someone tumbling. Voluntary step out. The apartment door had been pulled to, not latched. Neighbors told Shaw they usually heard the bolt on Kat's door each night after about 9:50. Shaw wrote that down beside the clock marks. About 9:50 door, about 9:53 radio, quiet by 10. The pattern matched habit. Leaving a door unlatched did not. Burglary or theft. A thief brings rummage and loss, purse overturned, drawer spill, a fast pry. Shaw logged no pry, no spill, no purse gone. On the sideboard, the wallet sat in plain view, folded bills still inside. Nothing about the flat read motive for a break-in. Consensual visitor. In this building, knocks carry. A greeting at the door makes a pause in the routine minute band. Shaw timed the evening. About 9:50 door, about 9:53 radio, then the hall light timer near 10. She underlined that the swing and radio matched habit, not the tempo of a chat with a caller. No neighbor reported a knock or voices at the second floor door. Maintenance or insider vector. The basement held the only off-pattern touches. The bent brass washer tag carried a faint oil smear, the kind that comes from toolbox carry, and the boiler door showed a light palm rub where a hand steadied itself. Upstairs, a witness had seen a young man with a soft toolbox pause in the hallway about 9:58. The cheap filter ends in the lint aligned with a basement smoker's habit. Shaw logged it all under access and minutes, not accusation. Random curb grab. A street intercept leaves voices in the stairwell, a door slam, or a tread rush spooling down. The stair core gave none of that. What it did give was a single laundry door click about 10:02, and the small, careful signs of standing, smoking, touching metal. Runaway or stage night out. A planned departure would take wallet, cash, and at least a note. It would not leave an alarm to ring at 6:30 a.m. and stop by itself. Shaw wrote a single line. The apartment reads, return expected. Era limits. Shaw underlined the gaps. 1971 meant no hallway cameras, no synced entry logs, and phones that left dimes, not records. Clocks in flats drift about 2 to 3 minutes. Detergent dust keeps a print for minutes, then boot traffic erases it. She wrote those limits so the file would not pretend to see what it could not. Provisional read. Present versus absent. Accident. Not supported. No strike, no slide, no cry. Burglary. Not supported. Wallet visible, cash present, no rummage. Voluntary step out. Weak. Door unlatched against a known bolt habit. Consensual visitor at the flat door. Weak. Timing matches routine, not greeting. Random curb grab. Weak. The basement, not the sidewalk, holds the story. Insider access in the laundry window. Quiet contact, short redirection. Best fit to cheap filter ash, oil smudged washer tag. Boiler palm rub, and the 10:02 door click. Working window. Minutes, not hours. Door about 9:50. Radio about 9:53. Laundry door about 10:02. Shaw boxed about 14 minutes for approach. Low voices, a smoke, a hand on metal, and exit without drawing the building. 2 cheap filter stubs nested in lint, and a brass tag oiled by toolbox carry, small pieces pointing downstairs. 14 minutes boxed on Shaw's pad. A lesson folder sat unopened. Chairs in the parish hall still stacked from the night before. Block 3. Witnesses and contradictions. Basement light and sound. Shaw interviewed, timed, Logged. The super told Shaw the laundry bulb gave a faint hum, the kind you only hear when you stop moving, and then silence. A third-floor tenant heard the laundry door click about 10:02, followed by a single pipe tick, and nothing else. Shaw stood under the fixture and noted the hum herself, then wrote that the basement provides sound cover for seconds, not minutes. Corner shop habit. She tied the brand to a pattern. The corner shop clerk pointed to the cheap filters with a red stripe sold in soft packs by the register, popular with shift workers and men who smoke through rain at doorways. Shaw compared the stubs from the lint tray. They matched the red stripe pack stock. It put the cigarettes in the world of basement smokers, not visiting dinner guests. Door routine versus greeting. She underlined the minute order. Neighbors said Kat's latch snapped most nights just after 9:50, and her radio came on after the latch, not before. Shaw wrote the line twice. Door about 9:50, radio about 9:53, but door not latched. Routine says lock then radio. This night says radio without lock. A small shift that breaks the visitor at the door story. Stair tread smear and the landing butt, a recent presence. On the 2 to 3 landing, a single cheap filter butt lay in dust with no shoe crush. When Shaw bagged it, it still carried the acrid odor of a just-stamped smoke. On the boiler door downstairs, she lifted a light palm rub and a faint rubber smear where a hand steadied, consistent with someone standing close and turning to listen. Insider access cues. Oil and graphite where hands should not be. The bent brass washer tag bore a faint oil smear and a trace of dry graphite. The combination Shaw sees on tool handles and in gopher kits more than on tenants' hands. A witness had seen a young man with a soft toolbox hover in the hall about 9:58 and glance toward the stair core. Shaw logged the trait as class evidence, the minute as inside the corridor, the man as unconfirmed. Basement light and the last sounds upstairs. She reconciled the fragments. Across the hall, Mrs. Corbin remembered hearing radio music fade and the hall timer buzz click once, just before 10, as it usually does. Then the building settled. No knock sequence. No voices trading greetings at Kat's door. The details read routine, then basement. What burglary would have changed, and did not? Shaw re-walked the flat with a camera and a list. A thief would turn a wallet, take small bills, drag drawers. On the sideboard, the wallet sat in plain view, folded small bills still inside. The bedroom drawers were square. Nothing in the rooms pointed to a hunt for value. Street-level noise that never came. She crossed it off. Drivers at the corner remembered nothing but ordinary traffic, between about 9:50 and 10:10. No car pause at the curb. No raised voice on the sidewalk. Whatever contact occurred, the building shields suggest it started below and did not need the street. Contradictions that matter. Shaw's board. Accident would leave a rail strike or a fresh heel sweep. The laundry lint held standing ash tails, not a fall. Burglar would take cash and clutter rooms. The wallet with small bills sat untouched. Consensual caller would show a knock or greeting pause. Radio before latch breaks her habit and undercuts that read. Random curb grab would make street signatures. None were logged. The basement gifts cheap red stripe ends, an oil graphite tag, a boiler palm rub, and a door click about 10:02. Pieces that cooperate with insider access in minutes, not hours. Unified timeline, minutes, not hours. 9:41 p.m. Corner receipt for milk and bread. About 9:50. Neighbors hear her door. Routine says latch snaps, but this night no latch. About 9:53. Radio comes on, as usual after door, only the lockstep is missing. Just before 10 o'clock. Hall timer buzz clicks once. The cone of light shifts. About 9:58. Young man with a soft toolbox seen near the hall, glancing toward the stairs. About 10:02. Laundry door click, faint bulb hum, then silence. One pipe tick. 6:30 a.m. Alarm rings unanswered. Shaw boxed about 14 minutes as the live span. Lock habit broken. Radio still routine. Basement access used, and the building never raised its voice. Working window. Minutes, not hours. Door about 9:50 to laundry, about 10:02 is the operational ban. Any theory demanding a long social visit, a search for valuables, or a street exchange does not fit. a humming basement bulb, 2 red striped stubs nested in lint, and a brass tag with oil and graphite where a tenant's hand does not need to be. Shaw pins ticks on a pad. The school bell rings routine at 8, but routine at the flat stopped 14 minutes earlier. Block 4, Technicals and Breakthrough. Reopen Kit. Shaw's Packets, Analyst's Gloves. From Shaw's sealed tray, Analyst's unsealed in order. The 2 basement cigarette butts, lint oval. The landing butt from the 2 to 3 stair cut. The bent brass washer tag, boiler door palm swab, a detergent dust lift near the folding bench, and the door latch faceplate swab. Fresh gloves each item. Tool changes between lifts. Bench and forceps pre and post swabs logged. Collection notes from 1971 added texture Shaw had underlined. The laundry bulb gave a faint hum, then silence, and the landing butt still carried the acrid odor when bagged. Low template attempts, where the old playbook stalled. qPCR showed sub-nanogram returns on the boiler swab, light to moderate on the cigarette filters. Mini STR on boiler and faceplate produced stutter-prone partials, non-reportable alone. VMD on the boiler swab revealed diffuse adult male ridge flow without a complete pattern. Controls remained clean. The stall was power, not process. SNP turn, usable signal at last. Analysts composited extracts from the 2 basement cigarette filters and built a low-input SNP library. Fragment length centered about 120 to 150 base pairs. Post-QC call rate about 92 to 94%. Mixture assessment supported a single source male, distinct from eliminations. Roommate, super, tenants who touch common surfaces, responding patrol. Bench blanks and reagent controls were negative. STR could not carry. SNPs gave signal. Microtrace. Class traits that bent the story, not conclusions. Washer tag smear. GCMS flagged a light mineral oil film with a faint graphite trace, a combination consistent with tool handle carry and pocketed fasteners, not with routine tenant use. Detergent dust lift. Under PLM, fine rubber microsmear and skin lipids near the boiler hinge where a hand would pivot and steady. Cigarette context. Pack fragments from the lint tray, not attached to filters, bore red striped soft pack paper commonly stocked at the corner shop, popular with shift workers. Class evidence only, not source unique. FGG guardrails. Lead, not proof. The S&P profile was uploaded only to opt-in law enforcement portals with a full audit packet, hashes, timestamps, named access roles. No non-consenting databases. Every view and export logged. Shaw's margin note from the file headed the packet. Notes point. Proof compares. Tree build and minute filter. Shaw's map expanded. Second and third cousin matches converged on a northern New England line, with early 1970s anchors in Chittenden County. Public records scaffolded the MRCA. Age and sex gates narrowed to males early 20s to early 40s in 1971. A geography time filter trimmed further. Evening shift presence within about 9:50 to 10:04 p.m. Roles naturally tied to basement access, building services, print shop help, boiler or washer gophers, and habits compatible with red striped soft packs bought at the corner. Phones of the era left dimes, not records. Shaw had underlined. So minutes, not metadata, carried weight. Short list. No more than 3, working, not conclusive. The pedigree plus class traits and minutes yielded a short list of 2 to 3 men who plausibly bridged flat door, stair core, laundry inside 14 minutes. Among them, William Bill Danner, about 23, print shop helper and maintenance gopher in 3B. Known basement smoker in bad weather with a soft toolbox, fit access and habit. A neighboring building's boiler subcontract assistant and a night porter from 2 blocks over rounded the list as controls. Shaw marked all as working names, not conclusions. Cross-checks against innocent transfer. The foreign profile repeated across independent basement filters. Eliminations were negative. Chain of custody on butts, tag, boiler swab, and dust lift remained continuous from Shaw's packets to reopen. The oil plus graphite on the washer tag, the boiler palm rub, and the red stripe soft pack context clustered downstairs. While the flat held wallet in plain view, small bills not touched, a split hard to square with burglary or a curbside encounter. Working window, application, minutes, not hours. Shaw kept the operational band about 9:50 to 10:04 p.m. She wrote that the basement hum and the hall timer buzz just before 10 fixed the rhythm. Latch habit broken, radio still routine, laundry door click about 10:02, a short inside contact measured in minutes, not hours. Surveillance and interviews would target men who could stand, smoke, steady a hand on metal, and be gone before the building noticed. A red striped soft pack fleck in lint and a washer tag with oil and graphite, fingerprints of work, left where tenants' hands don't need to be. Shaw's lab worksheet adds check marks and arrows. At St. Mary's, the chairs stayed stacked from the night before, while a lesson folder at the flat never turned its next page. Block 5. Resolution and arrest. Lead to proof. Shaw's plan executed. FGG stayed a lead. Shaw put William Bill Danner on quiet watch, keyed to her about 9:50 to 10:04 p.m., basement corridor. When he finished an early coffee by the print shop loading bay and dropped a paper cup in an outside bin, she logged the lawful discard. The cup rim showed a faint yellowed edge from long draws. The lab developed an STR profile from the rim and compared it to the S&P guided foreign profile from the basement cigarette filters. The comparison supported common source. With counsel review, Shaw obtained a court-authorized confirmatory buccal swab. The second test reproduced the profile without mixture flags. Match statistics, plain language. The confirmatory report returned RMP less than 1 × 10 to the power of 12 and LR greater than 10 to the power of 9 in favor of the same individual as the foreign contributor. Analysts noted the report sat without flags, a clean line from rim to file. Bench negatives and reagent blanks were clean. All eliminations remain non-matching. Corroboration. Minutes, not hours. Shaw emphasized the minute-scale nature of access. About 14 minutes from door about 9:50 to laundry door about 10:02, where a person could stand, smoke, steady a hand on metal, and leave before the building noticed. Neighbors recalled Danner often flicked ash against the boiler door when weather turned. The basement gave red stripe soft pack paper in lint common to shift workers, a washer tag with light mineral oil and faint graphite consistent with tool handle carry, and a boiler palm rub where tenants do not need to reach. Upstairs, the flat was intact, wallets still with folded singles in plain sight. No rummage, no pry. Street witnesses logged no curb pause in the band. Taken together, minutes and material pointed downstairs, not to theft or a street event. Investigators note, working theory. Investigators noted the minute-scale basement access and prior smoking and work habit downstairs. The working theory was avoidance of a complaint and loss of tenancy or job, not theft or a random street crime. Arrest. Shaw led the contact. At 6:12 a.m. in the print shop yard, Shaw and 2 detectives approached as Danner stepped from the bay with a thermos. He glanced once toward the yard gate, then set the thermos down without a word. Shaw identified, stated the warrant, and noted immediate compliance. Vehicle and outer garments were in plain view. Any interior search proceeded under separate authority. Charging framework. Shaw's memo. Identification. STR from lawful discard. Replicated by buckle. Reported with conservative statistics. Access and opportunity. Documented evening shift presence inside about 9:50 to 10:04 p.m. The minimal band in which a short, quiet contact in the laundry was possible. Corroboration. Scene logic downstairs. Humming bulb, lint oval, boiler palm rub. Class traits. Red stripe soft pack paper, oil and graphite on, washer tag versus an upstairs flat intact with the wallet's folded singles untouched. Negative eliminations, continuous custody. Shaw underlined FGG pointed. Proof came from discard. STR, buckle. Technical closeout. What was tested? Why sufficient? Tested. Basement cigarette filters as primary, landing filter as context. washer tag smear and boiler palm swab for residues, detergent dust lift near the folding bench, plus discard cup and confirmatory buckle. qPCR guided low input handling. STR confirmation met reporting thresholds. Mixture assessment indicated a single source male. All controls were negative. The detergent dust lift still carried faint scent of soap grit when swabbed. Sufficiency rested on independent replication, the minute scale time distance fit, and non-overlapping controls that closed off innocent transfer and bench carryover. A humming basement bulb, 2 red stripe stubs nested in lint, and hands steadied on boiler paint where tenants never reached, and a name to match them. 14 minutes on a sketch pad, 4 decades on a calendar before the file closed. Procedure closed the file. Life left a family marking birthdays without her.